What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I want to take a look at a flyweight champion by the name of Benny Lynch. Benny Lynch was Scotland's first world champion. He earned that title by defeating a 15-round decision over Small Montana. Now, Small Montana was from the Philippines. And Small Montana was a very, very good dynamic fighter. He was. After 37 fights, amateur fights, Benny Lynch returned professional. So let's take a look at his professional career. Let's just quickly look. Benny Lynch was Scotland's first world champion. He held the flyweight title. He was born on April 2nd, 1913 in Glasgow. He died on August 6, 1946. Basically, he died of alcohol. He outpointed Small Montana in the Philippines at Wembley Stadium to gain universal recognition as champion. Benny boxed under his real name. After 37 bouts as an amateur, he turned professional. He won all but 2 amateur championships. In 1935, he drew with Jackie Brown in Manchester, the champion in an overweight match. And on September 8th of that year, in a return engagement, he relieved Brown of his crown, flooring the king 10 times. Had Lynch guarded his health, he would have lasted long. He was the conqueror of every champion in every country and was a worthy title holder, but his love for liquor eventually failed him. Now, Benny Lynch was born on April 2nd, 1913 in Glasgow, Scotland. He weighed 112 pounds and stood 5 inches. Now, additional early records were missing for 1931 and 1932. So here in 1931, there's a partial record. And in 1932, there's a partial record. I'm not sure which dates are missing, but it's not as complete fights of 31 and 32. But on June 11th, he began his professional career and was placed on a card against a fighter by the name of Young McCall. Glasgow. Knocked him out in 3 rounds. August 14th, he would face Young Dunley in Glasgow and get an 8-round draw. On October 1st, he would face Paddy Daughtry in Glasgow, and he would lose in 8 rounds. Now, there's more fights in 1931. I just don't have his record available to me. In 1932, February 27th, we'll just assume that's his first fight that year. He would face Jimmy Barr in Glasgow, and he would defeat him in 6 rounds. March 11th, Scotty Deans, Glasgow. He would defeat him in 6 rounds. April 16th, he would face Young Griffo, Glasgow. He would defeat him in 6 rounds. June 11th, he would face Joe Atkin, Glasgow, and defeat him in 10 rounds. July 28th, he would face Jim Jeffries and defeat him in 6 rounds. August 18th, he would face Tony Fleming, Glasgow, and he would get a 6-round draw. November 3rd, Tommy Higgins, Bridgestone. He would defeat him in 10 rounds. November 9th, Ginger M. Lord. He would knock him out in 5 rounds. And then he would get a draw. He would get 2 more draws and 2 victories to end that year. 1933, January 11th, he would face Dan Cullen, Glasgow, defeat him in 10 rounds. Then he would get 2 draws, 2 10-round draws against his opponents, February 15th and March 29th. Walter Lemon, April 19th, 1933, Glasgow. He would defeat him in 10 rounds. May 3rd, Fred Tennant, Glasgow. He would defeat him in 10 rounds. And this would continue. He would get 1 more draw that year, November 9th, against Bob Fielding in Liverpool. That would be a 10-round draw. 1934, he would face a fighter by the name of Jim Brady on February 1st, 1934. And he would earn a 12-round victory. February 8th, he would face Fred Webb, Glasgow, knock him out in 3 rounds. On May 16th, he would face Jim Campbell, Glasgow. He would defeat him in 15 rounds and earn the Scottish Flyweight Championship. May 27th, Evan Evans, Glasgow. Knock him out in 3 rounds. May 29th, Peter Miller, Glasgow. Knock him out in 8 rounds. June 27th, Jim Campbell, Glasgow. Defeat him in 15 rounds. Scottish Flyweight Championship. So it looked like he would have a rematch with Jim Campbell. And he would continue. He would lose on a foul on December 5th against Tut Whaley and Dundee. He would lose in 8 rounds on a foul. I'm not sure exactly what the violation was, but they called a foul on Benny Lynch. Obviously, it was a non-title fight. 1935, January 7th, Bobby McGee, Glasgow. We defeat him in 12 rounds. March 4th, Jackie Brown, Glasgow. He would get a 12-round draw. April 15th, Tommy Pardo, Birmingham. He would knock him out in 14 rounds. Now he would face he would face Jackie Brown. I'm going to get to this fight. September 8th, Manchester. And he would knock him out in 2 rounds for the British, European, and World Flyweight Championship. So you can see the string of knockouts in 1936. 1937, he would face, on January 19th, Small Montana in London. That's the fight we were referring to. And the opening bio segment. And he would defeat him in 15 rounds to win the World Flyweight title. Small Montana, very good fighter. March 1st and March 22nd, he would face Len Hampson. Once in Manchester, he would lose on a foul in 5 rounds. He would face him again in Leeds and knock him out in 10 rounds. So he would solidify the fact that he was a champion. He would come back after a loss. Well, he was lost on a foul anyway, so, that's subjective. But he would knock him out in the 10th round in a return battle. Now, October 13th, he would face Peter Kane, Glasgow. Knock him out in 13 rounds for the World Flyweight title. Peter Kane was a champion. He would be champion. 1938, February 9th. He would score a 5th round knockout. March 24th, he would face Peter Kane again in Liverpool and get a 15-round draw, so he would retain his title. K.O. Morgan, Glasgow, he would lose in 12 rounds. And he would die on August 6, 1946, after being knocked out in the 3rd round due to alcohol. But here you have it. You have Benny Lynch. Flyweight champion of the world. It's a shame with some of these stories. I don't know if I'm going to put him in my Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series as of yet. I don't think he fought enough champions. He fought enough top contenders in the United States. But I will put him under review and add up the rounds and all the percentages and everything else and see what I can do with him. Would like to get him in there, but I can't. I got Small Montana and a lot of guys that can go in there as well. So this is the Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Benny Lynch's induction is on hold until further investigation. And I want to say salute to all my subscribers. And just let everybody know, probably as of Thursday, so today is Tuesday, from Thursday on to all next week, I'm going to be doing African American fighters. I'm going to cover all of them. I'm going to get a lot of them in. Turkey Thompson, heavyweight. Percy Bassett, featherweight. I'm going to get a lot of them in. So just keep that in mind. Once again, this is Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Salute to my subscribers. One love. Peace.